This video gives an introduction to basic conversions and rate conversions. I will use a calculator with this video, and you should have a calculator as well so you can follow along. So I'll look at rounding, some conversions that we will use, some common metric prefixes in the metric system, some example problems, and I'll look at English system unit length conversions like feet to feet and inches and so forth, and then some time conversions. So first of all, rounding. To round a number to a specified digit, you must look one digit to the right of the digit you intend to round. If the digit to the right is 0 to 4, the specified digit stays the same. If the digit to the right is 5 to 9, the specified digit is increased by 1. So example, round this number to 3,256 to the nearest 100. So the hundredths digit is the 2 here, so I go behind it, I look at the 5. Since the 5 is included in 5 to 9, I increase the specified digit by 1, so the 2 becomes a 3, so that 2 becomes a 3, and then I round everything else to a placeholder 0, so this rounds to 3,300. Next, round to the nearest 10. Well, the tens place is here. I look behind it, that's a 4. If the digit to the right is 0 to 4, the specified digit stays the same, so that 3 stays the same, and then the 4 just is replaced with a placeholder 0. So now the next example, round to the nearest 1. Well, the 1's place is the 9. I look behind it, that's a 9. Since 9 is from 5 to 9, the specified digit increases by 1, so this goes to a 1, because 9 and 1, actually we add 1 to 9, it becomes a 0. So I'm adding a 1 here, so that becomes 870. And I clear everything else to the right, so this rounds to 870, because I've rounded it to the 1's place, which is right there. Then round to the nearest 1/10. Well, the 1/10 place is this 0 here. That's a 7 behind it. That 7 means this goes up by 1, so I add a 1 to it. So this becomes 34.1. So some conversions that we will use and that you will need. 12 inches is a foot, 3 feet is a yard, 1 mile is 5,280 feet, 8 ounces is a cup, 16 ounces is a pint, 32 ounces is a quart, 128 ounces is a gallon, a ton is 2,000 pounds. This is one of the most important conversions. 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. This is an important one also. 1 pound is 454 grams. That's important in science. And you will need this someday in chemistry. 1 liter is 33.814 ounces. So some common metric prefixes that you see all the time. There are others, but these are the most important ones. Kilo means 1,000 of some root measures. So you have the kilometer, the kilogram, the kiloliter. So this means 1,000 meters, 1,000 grams, 1,000 liters. So 1 km or kilometer is 1,000 meters. 1 kl, you don't see this one too often. The kiloliter is 1,000 liters. You do see the kilogram quite a bit. That's 1,000 grams. Centa means 1/100th of the root measure. So a centimeter is 100th of a meter. A centigram is 100th of a gram, and a centiliter is 100th of a liter. So 1 cm is 1/100th of a meter, for example. Milli, that means 1/1000th of the root measure. So you have the millimeter, that's a common measure. Milligram, that's a common measure in medicine, for example. And the milliliter, that's also a common measure in medicine and science. So 1 mm, milliliter, is 1/1000th of a meter. 1 milliliter is 1/1000th of a liter, and 1 milligram is 1/1000th of a gram. So now let's do some example problems, and I want you to do your problems as I show you here. So this is called dimensional analysis. If you learn this method, you will always get your conversions correct if you know the conversion units. So I'll start with 4 miles. Now what I'm doing is I remember from the previous page that 1 mile is 5,280 feet. These are equivalent to each other. So to cancel out miles here, because ultimately I want to get to inches, I put 1 mile here. And then the equivalent to 1 mile is 5,280 feet. I need to get to inches, but to get to inches I need to go to feet first. So I'm going to go miles to feet to inches. That's my planned strategy here. So now what happens is these are equivalent. So this is equal to 1. So I'm not actually changing the value here, but I'm changing the unit size. So miles cancel out. Miles divided by miles is just like 1. So miles cancel out miles. I'm left with feet, but I want inches. So now I know that 12 inches is 1 foot. That's a pretty standard, easy to remember conversion. We use it quite a bit. So 1 foot, then, by putting a foot down here, feet cancel out now, and I know that 1 foot is 12 inches. Now I take my calculator, and these are just ones in the denominator, so I don't need to do anything with them. I take 4 times 5,280 times 12, and now I have the units I want because I want to get inches, so I take my calculator and I go 4 times 5,280 times 12, and I get 253,440. So my answer is 253,440 inches. Second example, 16 feet to centimeters. Okay, well, I can't directly go to centimeters and feet, but I can go feet to inches. And then I have a conversion from inches to centimeters, because I know that 1 inch from the front page, 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. This is an important conversion, it should be memorized. It's used a lot. So for every 1 foot, I know that's 12 inches. So my feet cancel out. I now have inches, but I want centimeters. So now I go for every 1 inch, that's 2.54 centimeters. So if I have inches here, to cancel them out, I need to put inches down here. And I had feet here. To cancel out feet here, I need to put feet down here. Now I'm left with the unit I want, which is centimeters. I just have ones in the denominator down here, so I don't need to worry about those. I take my calculator again, and I go 16 times 12 times 2.54. And I get 407.60. So I have 407.60 or 407.6 centimeters, which is my final answer. Okay, next example, 9 gallons to liters. So I start with 9 gallons. Put that at the top. Okay, to go to liters, I'm going to have to make a metric conversion at some time. Well, if you look back here, this one I don't have memorized right now. I don't use it that much. I know that 1 liter is 33.814 ounces, so I'm going to copy that. The thing is, I need to get to ounces. Well, I know 128 ounces is a gallon. So I'll go gallons to ounces, then I can go to liters, and I'm there. So I'm the first, since gallons are here, to cancel out gallons, I put gallons here. And here I'm going to go gallons to ounces. So the gallons will cancel, and I know that 128 ounces is 1 gallon. So now I have ounces, but I don't want ounces in the end, I want liters. So my last step is to get rid of ounces. Since I have ounces in the top or numerator, I put ounces in the denominator. Those will cancel. And I know that, let's smooth this over a little bit, I need a little room. I know that 33.814 ounces is 1 liter. So now I have what I want, I have liters. Now this time I have something other than 1 in the denominator, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 9 times 128 divided by anything in the bottom you divide by 33.814. So now I carry out that calculation. So I have 9 times 128, multiply everything in the numerator or top, divided by 33.814. Okay, so I'm going to round this one. Let's say I want to round my answer to the nearest hundredth of a liter. I didn't state that here, but let's do that. So this is 34.068. That 8 means that 6 is increased by 1. So this becomes 34.07 liters when I round to nearest hundredth. All right, next problem, 16 grams to tons. Well, grams is in metric, tons is in English, so I'm going to need to have a conversion here, and I'm going to have to use pounds to grams, because that's the English metric conversion I have, and I have that right here. So the thing is, I know that 1 pound is 454 grams, and I also know that 2,000 pounds, if you look on the previous page, is 1 ton. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go grams. I'm going to go grams to pounds to tons. So for every 454 grams, if you're in a chemistry class, you'll memorize this because you'll use it all the time, is 1 pound. So grams cancel out. By having grams up here and putting grams down here, those cancel out. Now I have pounds, but I don't want pounds in the end. I want tons. So since I have pounds in the numerator, to cancel out pounds, I need to put them in the denominator. And I know that 2,000 pounds is 1 ton. So now pounds cancel, and I'm left with what I want, which are tons. So now I take 16 divided by 454 divided by 2,000. Everything at the bottom you divide by. So we have 16 divided by 454 divided by 2,000. Now you see here, we'll copy this. This is 1.762.115.3.115.4537 e negative fifth. Well, what that means is this is called scientific notation. This is 1.76. We'll just round it to there. We'll drop these digits for now. That means the e means times 10 to the negative fifth. And what this means is this is just like move the decimal point to the left. A negative means move it to the left. Move 5 places to the left. So if I have 1.762, move decimal point 5 places left, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a decimal point and then add placeholder zeros. So this is 0.00001762 tons. And I just chose to round it to here. I could have chosen somewhere else. I could have rounded it to the nearest tenth, and that would have been 1.8. times 10 negative fifth, which would have been 0.00018 tons. Okay, so that's a very relatively small number. Okay, convert 400 milliliters to quarts. Okay, remember milli means 1,000th, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go milliliters to liters. Then I have to go from liters to English, so I'm going to go, and I have that conversion, I just used it a minute ago. So I'm going to have to go liters to ounces, then I could go ounces to quarts. So let's borrow what we just used a moment ago, right here. So I know that I have 1 liter is 33.814 ounces, and we also know that 32 ounces is 1 quart. So we'll start with 400 milliliters. To get rid of milliliters, I put milliliters down here. And I know that 1,000 milliliters is 1 liter. Okay, so now I've gotten rid of milliliters, I have liters, but I don't want liters. In the end, I want quarts. But I know that 33, I know for every 1 liter, this will get rid of liters now, that's 33.814 ounces. And finally, I know that 32 ounces is 1 quart. So now I take my calculator and I go 400 times 33.814 divided by 1,000 divided by 32, and I will have my result. So I have 400 times 33.814 divided by 1,000 divided by 32. That leaves me 0.422675 quarts. Now let's just choose something to round to. Let's say we want to round it to the nearest hundredth. So there's your hundredths place. That's a 2 back there. So if it's from 0 to 4, this 2 stays the same. So this is about 0.42 quarts if I choose to round to nearest hundredth. I just chose a hundredth. There's no particular reason I chose that. Okay, now let's do just some metric conversions here. So 1,200 centimeters to kilometers. Well, I can go centimeters to meters, and then I can go meters to kilometers, because I know that 100 centimeters is 1 meter, and I know that 1,000 meters is 1 kilometer. So for every 100 centimeters, that's 1 kilometer. I'm sorry, is 1 meter. So centimeters cancel. Now, I don't want meters in the end, I want kilometers, but I know that 1,000 meters is 1 kilometer. So now I take my calculator, and I take 1,200 divided by 100 divided by 1,000. And I get 0.012 kilometers. Okay. And then convert 1.8 kilometers to centimeters. Okay, well I know that 1,000 meters is 1 kilometer, and I know that 100 centimeters is 1 meter. So here I'm going to go kilometers to meters to centimeters. So for every 1 kilometer, that's 1,000 meters. Then for every 1 meter, because I now have gotten rid of kilometers, but I want centimeters, so I know then since I have meters here, I have to put meters here, and I know that 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So now meters cancel out, and I'm left with what I want, which are centimeters. So now I take my calculator, I go 1.8 times 1,000 times 100. And that gives me 180,000 centimeters. So I didn't quite copy all the zeros there. So this is 180,000 centimeters. Okay, next let's do some English unit conversions where I have to go say inches to feet and inches. So remember always there's 12 inches is 1 foot. To do this, I'm simply going to use long division with remainder. So here's a application of long division with a remainder. So what I do is I divide 12 into 65. And 12 goes to 65 5 times. 5 times 12 is 60, remainder 5. So my answer is going to be 5 feet, 5 inches, because for every 12 inches, that's 1 foot. So this represents feet, and the remainder represents inches. So this is 5 feet, 5 inches. It's easy to do if you just remember what to do and think about it for a second. So now 17 feet, 9 inches to inches, what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert 17 feet to inches for every 1 foot. That's 12 inches. So that's my 17 feet converted inches plus 9 inches. So on my calculator now, I'm going to take 17 times 12 plus 9. That gives me 213 inches. Okay, now a few time conversions. So say you are given 5.27 minutes and you need to convert it to minutes and seconds. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up into 5 plus 0.27, and these are minutes. This is 5 minutes plus 0.27 minutes. Well, this is already in minutes, but here what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this to seconds. So I know that for every 1 minute, that's 60 seconds. Okay, so now I have my 5 minutes. That's good. Now I'll take my calculator and go, the minutes cancel here, so I have seconds. I'm going to take 0.27 times 60, and I get 16.2. And that's seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that's about 5 minutes and 16 seconds. So if I have 3 hours and 52 minutes to hours, same idea. I'm going to take 3 hours, I already have that in hours, plus 52 minutes, and then for every 60 minutes, that's 1 hour. So what I'm doing here is I'm dividing 52 by 60. That'll convert that to hours. Like here, I took 27 divided by 60. That'll convert the minutes to seconds. So my minutes cancel here. That's 52 minutes. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take 52 divided by 60. That's 0.866 repeating. So that gives me roughly, let's round this to the nearest hundredth of an hour. That 6 becomes a 7, so that's about 3.87 hours. 2 more, 4.8 hours to minutes. So what I can do here is I got 4.8 hours, and I'm just going to convert to minutes. So for every 1 hour, that's 60 minutes. Okay, the hours cancel, so I just take on my calculator. I just take 4.8 times 60. That's 200 minutes. And last, 4 minutes 52 seconds to minutes. So I already have the 4 in minutes, but I got to convert to 52 seconds to minutes. So I know for every 60 seconds, that's 1 minute. So I'm going to take 52 divided by 60 and add that to 4. So this is the whole number part, this will be the fraction part. So I take 52 divided by 60. And again, I got this earlier, 0.8667. Let's say we round it to nearest hundredth again. So this is 0.87. If I'm going to round it to the nearest hundredth, that's the hundredths place. The thousandths place, that's a 6, so it goes up to 7. So this is 4.87 minutes. And this concludes the video.